and the crew said that's where the beam hit me.
Yeah, that's I remember reading that, and that's it said hit your face and your chest, and yeah, whatever it was, it hit you, and it might have been like when we were kids and all used to shoot at flies and rats and squirrels and stuff. They might have been target practicing, man.
Well, I talked to one guy, Dwayne Smith. He was telling me, he'd become an electrician after that, and he was saying it had a real electrical sound to him. But in the police records, they interviewed the men, and one of the guys described it as being like a long blue flame shooting out of that craft.
Like a plasma or something.
Yeah, but so, whether it was electrical or flame or some sort of, like light energy, I don't know. It was just extremely powerful.
Well, it sounds like it was. It sounds like it was a little overboard for what they were trying to do. But you might have been right. It might have been something automated. You might have got within whatever the parameters were for that ship, and it said...
like maybe a static discharge, because when those guys would say, get the hell out of there, get out of there, get out of there, I was ducked down behind the end of this log, and when I jumped up to go, that's when it hit me. And so at that point, my head and chest were at the closest to that craft that they'd been.
And you're the warmest thing around, exhibiting the highest electrical charge. You might be right. It might have been. They
It's
might
like
have
a
felt,
lightning rod, just to pass to the ground.
They might have felt obligated to pick you up and make sure you weren't dead. Said, oh, look at this dumb human got by our spacecraft. Oh, Lord, I could see us on a planet. It's going to be rough when we start colonizing other worlds. But you still, I got to give you credit just for walking up to the thing. Most people would not have done it.
I was being a dumb show-off, That was really stupid. I just wish I hadn't done that.
Yeah,
I was saying that most of the guys wish that they, that it never happened, but one of them actually goes back there, or has on occasion on the anniversary of the incident, and camped out on that site. Over the years, he came to wish that it had happened to him, and I told him, Ken, you don't want this to happen to you.
Hell no.
But he kind of feels like he missed out on something, but he should count his lucky stars.
I think I'm with you on that one. I think he should count his lucky stars. But, it is one of the things we tell people when they come to us and say we want to remember stuff that's happened. I said, really, do you? Are you sure?
Yeah. I've had people write to me about that. Do you think I should do hypnosis? I tell them, I can't. I can't speak for you, but, like myself, I've shied away from undergoing hypnosis.
Oh, I can understand that. We won't use it unless it's a very last resort on something that there's just no other options for. But we don't like using it. We just don't, because you can do more damage than good sometimes. So if the examiner asks the wrong questions or has preconceived ideas, it can really do more damage than good. Yeah, because I know in you, part of you has to wonder what happened for those 5 days, and then I'm sure there's a part of you that just doesn't want to know.
Yeah, exactly.
And then again, you might have been asleep for 4 days.
Yeah, I'm hoping that was the way it was.
They might have had you recovering somewhere and moved you when you finally got well enough to... You got to wonder about all of that. Maybe hit some kind of stasis, and because 5 days is 5 days. That's a long time to be missing. And but apparently it must not have been a stasis, because did you have like a beard when it was a growth?
Yeah, I had a 5-day growth of beard.
Yeah,
and that's what Cause see, when they picked me up, my family come and got me. I thought it was still the same night.
I bet you did.
And they said, Travis, you've been gone for 5 days. Feel your face, and I felt my beard, and oh man, that hit me hard. I looked at my watch. The date changed.
Yeah, because you had to be. Yeah, that might have been one of the reasons you were weak, but somewhere along the line they had to get some kind of fluids into you, because if you weren't in stasis, they had to get some kind of fluids into you somehow. There's just no way, I guess, of knowing all of that stuff. But
I was pretty dehydrated, though.
Yeah, I do remember reading that, and I do remember hearing that as well too. So maybe not. Maybe you were just borderline whatever they needed, and that might have been another reason to decide we better put this guy down before we kill this poor dude. And to me, in a lot of ways, it sounds like you were lucky, all in all. I know you were in the wrong place at the right time, or however you want to look at it, and I know the experience is rough, but it could have been one of them ones where we just never heard from Travis Walton again either.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that wasn't the case.
Yeah, so am I.
A lesson about jumping out there and running up stuff.
Well, tell your kids don't go looking for UFOs, guys. That's all I can tell y'all. Not unless because it's a good chance that for anybody listening to us tonight, it's a good chance if you see something like this and you go get underneath it. Don't think they might not zap your butt, guys. I mean, there's always a chance. Travis is living proof of that. So I'd be careful there, ladies and gentlemen, because I know a lot of y'all are out chasing UFOs and trying to get the evidence to, get somebody to disclose. But be careful is all I can tell you. Now, I wanted to go back in that room. I remember you said the two women and the guy with the helmet. Did he just leave? Did you notice where he went, or?
Yeah, he just went on out the other side and went out the other door and left me with them. So he didn't take off the helmet in our presence. He left. But
weird.
see, I thought up to that point that the reason I wasn't getting any answers was because he had that helmet on, that maybe you couldn't talk with it on or couldn't even hear me or something like that. So I started over with all the questions to these other people, and I took them to be people, and they weren't answering, and that really got me thinking, what's going on here? Especially when they started trying to make me lay on the table.
Yeah.
I had enough of laying on tables, and that I started to fight back then.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. I can understand that. After what you went through on the other ship, I'd be a little leery about anybody wanting me to lay anywhere.
I was so weak I could hardly stand up, but I was going to fight. But they were so strong.
Yeah, and from the way you describe it, it wouldn't have been much of a fight. They'd have just got you down. You notice, I mean, they had ears. You think they could hear you? I mean, were they reacting? Or just...
Well, I was yelling at them, and there was kind of like a little blink, at my loud point, like a wince or something. So yeah. I think they could hear me, but they weren't answering.
No, could be anything. They might not speak our language. Might have been from here and not want to say anything because you might recognize they were from here.
Yeah.
I guess there's a couple of reasons it could be for that. Yeah, because I've always wondered about that, and I always wondered where that guy went for some reason. It's just one of the things that sticks into the back of my head, questions like that. Now, and then, I mean, so they had you there, they got you on the table, you were resisting a little bit, they laid you down, and then she put that thing in your face, and it was just kind of like when they're doing surgery, 10, 9, 8, boom, you're out.
Yeah, I did manage to get my hand free, it was just desperate. And I got it under the edge of that mask, and I tried to pull it away, but boom, I was out.
Yeah, it was some kind of good drugs they used there. And then yeah, because I know, they just put you back. Now, apparently these guys aren't good with directions or something. They dropped you, or maybe they needed to drop you way outside of town so nobody would see them. I didn't even think about that for some reason.
Yeah, but, it wasn't outside the town where I live. It was outside the town nearest where it happened, which wasn't close. It was 15-mile drive.
Yeah. Yeah. See, so apparently, they were just putting you back to near where. Well, maybe they were just staying in the general vicinity. See, that makes me wonder too, because here you got a saucer, fairly decent size one from the way you describe it, and just wandering around the woods for 5 days, and we know they were out looking for you.
Well, the area around this town, Hebrew, where I was dropped off, is heavily forested with tall timber and steep canyons. So it'd be easier for them to be,
floating down the valley, down the canyon or something.
Yeah, not be seen.
Yeah.
And there's, at that time, was less outlying, houses or whatnot. And around Snowflake, much flatter and much more spread out, and so.
Well, no, I mean, it makes sense they're going to put you back where they're going to have the less likely area that they're going to want.
Unless they just didn't know where I was from and just figured that,
well, let's get this guy on the ground.
Yeah.
But I mean, they basically stayed and watched till you recovered. I mean, till you became conscious and all.
Yeah, they didn't drop me off out in the middle of the woods where I wouldn't even, where I'd be lost. And